So we're going to get this done, and I'm going to go through with you exactly what I would do, same way as if I were going through with a client. If I'm working with a client, I'm going to show you exactly what I would do with them, and I'm going to do that with all of you guys today for free, for the free ski. So get excited. All right, so we got 10K. Terrell said. Neil says $2,000. We got 4,000. Okay, perfect. Ron says 5,000. Who else has a monthly goal that they want to throw up here? 10K. All right, perfect. Nikki says 5K. Good. My personal goal for October is actually higher than September, even though I didn't hit my goal in September. My goal for October is 50K. So just shoot for the stars. Why not, right? If you shoot for the stars, land among the clouds or something like that. So I guess that's a good way to start, is like actually setting the goal. Because there was like one point in time where I was actually scared to set a goal, because I felt like if I set a goal and then I don't reach the goal, I'm going to be disappointed. I'll let myself down. I'll be frustrated, this, that, or the other. And I had to come to a realization, and I came to a point where it was like, there's nothing wrong with setting the goal. Just set the goal. And number one, don't be so hard on yourself if you do miss the goal, because as long as you don't die, you still have a chance to reach that goal, right? So, taking this back to the example with one of the goals that I had for this year, which was to compete in a bikini competition. So that was the goal. I just wanted to compete. And then as we got closer, I was like, okay, I want to actually place. Like, I don't want to just show up. I want to actually, I want to be competitive, and I want to place. And I did. I ended up taking third place in 35 plus, and I was in top 5 in the open and 35 plus. And I also had another goal on top of that, which was I really wanted, I wanted to be very, very lean with very visible abs. And I feel like I got there to an extent, but it wasn't exactly what I saw in my head. And I decided at that point, I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm just going to give myself grace and allow myself to, get there at the next time I go after that goal. Especially with body goals, financial goals, relationship goals. There's what I realize is there's this upward spiral. Okay. So when you set your first goal, let's say your first goal might be, I just want to make my first dollar in my coaching business, right? When you set that first goal, you're going to come across obstacles, and you're going to learn how to overcome those obstacles. And then you're going to set a new goal. And as you set a new goal, you essentially are going through this upward spiral. And when you set that new goal, you're going to come back around to the same exact obstacle, but it's going to be at a different level. So it's going to be a different vibe. It's going to be a different, you're going to know what to do, but it's going to feel different. And I'm trying to figure out how to explain this, but for example, for me, for let's say, body goals first, as I was talking about that, my first obstacle was not eating a whole pan of brownies fresh and hot out the oven, right? So it's something that I have done before. It's something that, I enjoy doing. Who doesn't love hot chocolate brownies, especially the Ghirardelli box with the chocolate chips? Oh my gosh. So that was part of the first obstacle was okay, let's just not eat a bunch of crap, right? And now I'm in a different place, right? I'm spiraling up, going after the goal again from a different place. And now the next obstacle is let's focus on eating clean, healthy foods as much as possible, 80 to 90% of the time, sticking to your macros and plugging in all of your food. Even if you eat something that's off plan, just plug it in and type it in anyway so your coaches can see it. So now there's a new obstacle it's kind of the same obstacle of eating right, but it's a different type of obstacle, right? I'll have to have a different approach to it. And so it's similar when you're going after your financial goals. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this before, where you set a financial goal, and the first time you go after that goal, and the very first time you even try to do it, there's an obstacle that you're trying, you're moving through, and you're learning how to overcome that obstacle. And now you've set a higher goal. So for me, one of my very first financial goals for my business was to earn $5,000 in a month, which is why I titled this 5K in 30 days to help you create your profit plan. And then after I reached that goal, like right away, I was like, okay, I want to hit 10K. And then as soon as I hit that goal, I was like, all right, I want to hit 20K. And then once I hit that goal, I'm like, okay, now I want to hit 50K. Right. So, so it's like the goal continues. You can continue to expand your goal, and you are expanding as a person as well as you continue to go after these goals. But the one thing I want you to remember is like, don't be so hard on yourself if for some reason like, you don't hit the goal right away. It can take time. It doesn't have to, but it can take time. Usually what I find is when I feel like it's taking a long time for me to reach my goal, it's because there's some lesson that I'm supposed to learn that I haven't learned yet. Okay. Who is on YouTube? Can you guys still see me on YouTube? Because there's a couple people that had already popped in that are watching on YouTube. It might be that the reminder one that didn't go live the way it was supposed to. But if you're watching on YouTube, comment and let me know yes if you can see me on YouTube. It says I have 28 viewers. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Yeah, it might just be that one that was scheduled for some reason that didn't go live or something like that. Oh, on the event one. Yeah, see, so this is very frustrating for me because, for example, when I go into Restream and I schedule it and I say, yes, this is what I want to do, like YouTube has just changed their platform where now all of a sudden they have a new event platform. So like I schedule it on Restream and then I go live and it doesn't connect with the fact that I've scheduled it on YouTube. So I'm glad that you guys that are here can see me. Okay, good. You're watching on YouTube. You just have to go to the main channel. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah. So if you, so that's the good news is that you can see me. So all of the blue comments, if you guys see the little line next to that comment, it's a blue comment. That means that's people on Facebook. And then if you see the little, actually they're all blue. Okay. The little red lines, people on YouTube. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. All right. Well, everyone's here with me now. Wonderful. Hey, Sandra. Okay. So what was I saying? So when I feel like it's taking me a long time to reach my goal, like meaning that I get frustrated, like I have not reached my goal yet. Why haven't I reached my goal yet? When I feel that way, I find that it's because there's a lesson that I'm supposed to learn that I just haven't learned yet. And so then what I do is I start thinking, all right, what is the lesson? What is it that I was supposed to learn? Like, what am I supposed to learn? What is this teaching me? Is it teaching me patience? Okay, no, it's not patience. Is it teaching me that I need to get out of my comfort zone? Like, okay, maybe it's that. Is it teaching me that I need to stop looking at what everybody else is doing and focus on what I'm doing? Like, okay, maybe. So there's always, for me, there's always a lesson. And once I learn that lesson that I'm meant to learn for that level, for that obstacle, as I continue to spiral up to higher and higher goals, once I learn that lesson, then that's when I break through and that's when I reach that goal. And it doesn't just come once. It's like you'll hit it again and again and again. So if your financial goal is 5K, 10K, let me go back to some of these comments. We had 5K, 10K, another 5K, 4K, 2K, 10K, 7,500. So whatever your goal is, once you reach that goal, you'll hit it over and over and over again. From a practical standpoint, yes, you need to have, structure and systems and like all this stuff in place, but there are people who have those things in place that still are not hitting their goals. Okay. So I want you to understand that it's not just the practical. A lot of this comes from the energetic of understanding, number one, how do you become that person that is the person who earns that, like no matter what. So it doesn't matter like where the money comes from, how it comes in, who it comes from, whether it's your job or your business or someone just walks up to you and gives you a check. Like when you have that energy of that person who just earns at that level and receives at that level, you will receive that over and over again, no matter what. So every single month, your month will be, you might have a range, but every single month, your month will be that. when you receive at that level. Now, in order for you to become the person that receives at a higher level, or the level, whatever level you want to hit, there's usually some sort of lesson that has to be learned. Okay. Good. Okay. We got some more goals in here. 10K, 10K, 10K. Okay, good. Perfect. So the title of this is perfect. So the title of this is 5K in 30 days. Create your profit plan for October. And then I also did for the cover is anywhere from 5 to 10K is good. Typically, when a client comes to me, the very first thing that we do is look at what are your revenue goals. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you guys are excited about that and you're ready to get started, give me a yes. Give me an emoji. My line from my hair wrap is still on my forehead. I feel like a guy right now where like they always have like the do-rag lines. Like I got that going on right now. Okay, good. Yes. Yes. We got another goal coming in here. Okay, sorry. I have to click them in order to make them pop up. So let me make sure we're getting everybody. Emojis. Okay, good. Cassandra says, good. Sandra's cracking up at my do-rag line. Okay, good. All right, awesome. Well, I'm excited to get started. So step one. So let's say we were on a call together. We started working together in a coach-client capacity. And the very first thing that I do with my clients is we set a goal. So we'll set a couple of goals, but we always start with the financial goal because that's what I do. I help my clients earn more, right? I create 6 and 7 figure earners. I'm really, really good at what I do. And I'm very confident in that. When I first started in like the first couple years, I wasn't as confident as I am now in my ability to help my clients get results. But after seeing like even from the start, clients' results and things that they've been able to do as a result of, how I teach, not just what I teach, but also how I teach and how I help them get the transformation. Like I'm very, very confident in what I do. I have helped clients to earn 7 figures in their business, 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, the first dollar, get their first client and so on and so forth. So like I said, I'm very confident in that. So when I sit down with a client, the very first thing that we do is we set our goalposts. Like, what is it that we're shooting for? What are we going after? And I challenge them and I'll say something like, don't be scared of your goal, similar to what we just talked about. Like, put the goal that you actually want. Like, don't put a goal that you're like, well, I think I can reach this goal. If your goal is something else, like just set the freaking goal. And it doesn't matter if you've never hit that goal before, or if it's bigger than the last one and you didn't hit the last one, like it doesn't matter. Here's how goal setting works for me and how it works energetically as well. When you set a goal that you actually want to hit, that's when things start falling into place. But if you set a goal that you only think you can hit, you're not putting your full energy behind it. And your energy is so powerful. And when you can put your full energy behind a goal, you will start thinking of ways to reach that goal. People will come into your life. They'll be magnetically attracted to you. Like things will just start happening on an energetic plane. So you have to set the goal that you want to hit, not just the goal you think you can hit, but like, what's that goal that you want to hit? Now, when I say, okay, in the next 30 days, you might be thinking like, well, I don't know if I can even reach that in 30 days, but who freaking cares? Like, just set it. I set my goal for last month, didn't hit it. It doesn't matter. My goal for this month is much higher. I don't care. Like, I'm always going to set my goal because it's what I can get my energy behind. And if I can't get my energy behind it, then like, I'm not going to reach it anyways. So as long as I get my energy behind it, there's a much better chance for me to reach that goal. And whether I reach it in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or whatever, it doesn't matter to me, right? So that's the very first thing, is make sure that your goal is the actual goal that you want to hit. Okay? Cool. Good. So then from there, the next thing that I would do with my client after we go through that and maybe even have a conversation about what your goal is, the very next thing that we're going to do is we're going to figure out what are the inputs to that goal. So setting a financial goal is great, but if you don't know what to do in order to reach that financial goal, then you're still going to be setting the same financial goal over and over and over again, right? So let's say that your goal is the 5K or in 30 days. Well, what goes into that? So the next thing that we would do is we would next look at like packages. Like, what are your packages? What are your offers? Yes, set the damn goal. What are your packages? What are your offers? So for you, I want you to write down right now, what offers do you have? Like, what, if somebody came to you right now, what could they actually buy from you? How could they give you money? If you don't have a way for people to give you money, then there's no reason to set the goal, right? So let's say, you set your 7,500 goal and you know that you have a coaching package that sells for $7,500. Okay, great. Well, now you know your goal for this month is to find that one client and to sell that $7,500 coaching package. That's it. If your goal is 10K and you have I'm just going to make this easy on myself, $1,000 product, like $1,000 course, then you know your goal is to get 10 clients into that. If it's $500, your goal is 20 clients, right? So that's the next thing we do, right? Hey, Dalita, we start figuring out the input. So what are the inputs that go into that goal? So you set your financial goal and you figured out the first input, which is the packages and how many actual clients that you need. Then from there, we're going to take one more step back and we're going to say, okay, in general, when you booked clients before, where have those clients come from? Did they come from referrals? Did someone find you on Instagram? Did they, watch a video on YouTube and click a link in the description box? Did they hear you on a podcast? So that's the next thing that I'm going to do is I'll ask them like, where have your clients come from before? And what I'm looking at is not necessarily what did you do so we can go all in on that. But usually when I ask that question, what I'm looking at is what comes easiest to you, like as far as from a marketing standpoint, because I'm a marketing consultant, right? So I'm helping you to figure out your marketing genius. So I want to know like what comes easiest to you. What do you enjoy the most? Because if, for example, if you say, well, most of my clients have come from podcast interviews, but I really I did that once off and I really don't like podcast interviews, then we're not going to keep going after podcast interviews, because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to have your energy behind earning that money, right? So there's a lot, and I talk about this a lot, but there's a lot, like your energy has a lot to do with it. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. It's got to feel good for you. Like you should be excited about it. If you're not excited about it and it like drains the heck out of you, you're not going to do it. And so it's going to be difficult to reach the goal. And if you do reach the goal, you're going to hate the life you created on the way there. And that's why a lot of people, not a lot, but there are certain people who become successful who lose it all. And they're like, oh, why did I lose it all? Well, you wanted to lose it all because you didn't like the life you created. Or they get there and like they end up getting divorced, or, all these other, crazy things happen because they created it from a struggle and a, pull standpoint or push standpoint, whatever, instead of let's let it be flow. Let's do what we enjoy and let's get there with, creating a life we love brick by brick. Right. Can you possibly speak to reaching the goal a few times, but not consistently? Oh, absolutely. I can definitely do that because I've been there. So we will come back around to that. So that's the next thing we would do. So we've set your financial goal. We looked at the number, like your packages. So what the inputs are and like how you've gotten clients in the past and like what those are. And so then from there, what we would do is we would set a marketing plan. So usually with my clients, I do like a 90-day marketing plan. The reason that we do 90-day marketing plans is because usually it's going to take you around 30 days to pull everything together that I'm going to show you how to do, to pull everything together, get it all fixed up. In some cases, some clients have to create new things. Like you might be creating a new freebie. You might be learning some tech stuff. You might have to coordinate with your website person or, this person or that person. So that's usually the 30 days is like setup. And I actually have that listed out here, how I have it. Anyway, yeah, there it is, setup. And then the next 30 days, usually what we do is we start going into like testing ads or putting together some sort of ad. The way that I work with my clients is I don't depend on organic traffic. Organic traffic is great, but for me, it's like bonus traffic. It's not what I want to depend on, because I know that if I can get an ad to work the way I want it to work and create a funnel to work the way I want it to work, then now all I have to do is figure out how do I spend more money to bring in more client sales, leads, et cetera, et cetera. If you do something in an organic fashion and you're like, well, I'm just going to post on Instagram every day, or I just do Instagram lives every day, that works and it can work, but it's dependent on you being there. So let's say you get sick one day. Okay, great. It's also dependent on Instagram algorithm. And let's say they change something. Okay, great. Versus like with ads, like your ad money, that's how those businesses run. So like Facebook is dependent on your ad money. Like that's their revenue maker. Instagram is dependent on your ad money. So they're less likely to make huge changes to their ad algorithm than they are to the organic algorithm. Hey, Colette, thank you. And thank you for your blessings and prayers. I did get the text. So for those of you who, if you get the text when I'm like, hey, we're live, that's actually me sending the text. I do use a broadcast system called Text 180. But if you reply back, I can reply back to you. So I did. Colette sent me a very sweet blessing and prayer, and I replied back to her. So I appreciate that. Okay, so let me come back to Sandra's question real quick, because I gave you kind of the overview, and so we'll come back to that in just a second as far as the profit plan. But let's talk about reaching the goal a few times, but not consistently. So from an energetic standpoint, once you reach your goal, as long as you learn the lesson, one, that you were supposed to learn in order to reach that goal, and as long as you are holding that vibe and in that energy of that person who always reaches that goal no matter what, then you will continue to reach that goal from an energetic standpoint. Okay, so that's just the energy of things. So for example, when I set my my bare minimum and my not maximum, but my range, where I'm like, we'll never go below this number, but we might be between this number and this number, depending on a couple of different factors, like whether I'm launching or not, or you know, whatever it is. Once I set that, like we're not going below that low number. And even though last month, like I said, I didn't hit the new goal that I hit, like we did not go below that low number, because my energy is the energy of this is where we are, no matter what, like month in, month out. I don't care how it happens, but it's going to happen, and it's always going to be between here and here. So that's energetically. How do you get your energy behind that number, even when it might not be there yet? Like my low number now used to be the high number. That used to be like, I can't wait to get there. And when I get there, like that was like my max number. That was the old high part of the range. And now it's the low end of the range, and I have not dipped below that number. So how do you get your energy there when you're not even there yet? Well, first is setting it and just believing that it is yours and that it's yours already. And then also realizing that version of you who's already reaching that number, who has already reached that number, who's looking back at the lower numbers like, wow, I can't believe I used to be there. Like that version of you is available right now. So there's no such thing as time. Like you're only ever in this present moment. Like think about it. We're only in this moment right now. Like you can think about the past and you can think about the future, but you're only ever in the present moment, right? So that means that the version of you, the quote unquote future version of you who's earning what you want to earn, is actually in this present moment. It can only be in this present moment. I know that might feel like a little mind blowing, like a little woo woo, but it's true. So that means that version of you is available right now. In order for you to energetically be that version of you right now, you got to start thinking of, what does that version of me, how does that version of me think? How does that version of me move? How does that version of me interact with people? How does that version of me spend, save, invest, deal with relationships, deal with health and wellness, deal with this, that, or the other. Like, start looking at every area of your life. And it's part of what we did inside of the incubator this round, which was new. We didn't do it before, but this round, what we did was we started looking at each and every part and area of people's lives. Hi, Regina. Did you know your name means queen? Regina, you probably did, because a lot of people know the meanings of their name, but Regina does mean queen. So thank you. Good morning to you too. But that version of you is available for you right now. It is you. You are that version, but you have to allow that version to live in this present moment. And the way that you do that energetically is start looking at, okay, how does that version of me move? How does that version of me react? How does that version of me do this, that, or the other? So once you start looking at that, you might realize that, okay, there's some relationships that I need to get rid of, because if I were earning what I know is available for me, I wouldn't be in these relationships. I wouldn't be talking to these people. I wouldn't be wasting my time on this. I wouldn't be acting this way. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing that. And you kind of start making a list of, like, how does that version of you act? And as you start moving and pushing those things out of your life, that's what's going to allow that version of you to come, because you are that person. You already know what you would do when you're earning. Like, for me, I already know what I would do when I'm earning $50,000 a month. Like, am I ready to do all those things yet? Maybe, maybe not. So I have to be honest with myself, right? So that's the first thing, is energetically. Hey, Ty. That's the first thing, is just energetically understanding that that version of you is already available. And that's how you get there energetically. Now, from a practical standpoint, which most people believe that the practical is like what you have to do most of, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who have the practical in place and they can't get their numbers right either. But from a practical standpoint, you do need to, and a business standpoint, you do need to understand your inputs, understanding like, how many conversations do I have to have in order to bring the number of clients that I want to have in? What does that follow-up process look like? What does my sales process look like? Do I have a repeatable sales process? Do I have actual, if I want recurring income, like, do I have a way for recurring income to come in? Whether it's retainer clients, whether it's payment plans from courses or a membership program. So it's those practical things as well. However, I do want to get back to like it being, there's absolutely the energetics of it, because if you put those practical things in place, but you don't believe you're worthy of them, you'll sabotage it at some point in some way, somehow. And it won't work. It won't stick. So that's how we get there. So to answer your question of reaching your goal a few times, but not consistently, it's both sides. It's the energy of it and it's the practical of it. From a practical standpoint, like I said, it's a matter of having consistent inputs. So for example, I know if I'm spending $100 a day consistently on ads, then that should bring a certain amount of people in consistently. And then those people should filter into certain programs and products consistently. And so that's where those numbers come in, and which is what we're actually going to go over next. All right, I'm going to get some water. Any questions on this so far? And we're going to go into part 2 of creating your profit plan. All right. Let me close this. And I wish I think I can share my screen, but the way they have this, I don't think it shows very, very good. Share screen 2. And then I put them side by side and turn this one on. Boom. But it's like so far away. All right. So let's try to zoom in. Let's put this on 200. How about that? 200. All right. So what I'm showing you right now, and the reason that I can't do the screen share like huge is because when I turn myself off, the audio turns off also. So let me try. and I just said you guys can't hear me, right? So I don't think there was any audio when I put the screen share on, which is kind of annoying. But let's do the screen share. So the second part of the profit plan is understanding that we've got at least 3 offers. Yeah, the audio went off. Yeah, it's very frustrating. You are very welcome. So the second part of the profit plan is understanding that you need at least 3 offers. You need a free offer, a low ticket offer, and a high ticket offer. You might have a mid ticket offer, and I'm going to explain all of this in just a second. You might have a high ticket offer, but at a minimum, you need to have a free offer, a low ticket offer, and a high ticket offer. Okay. Now this is the Aspire model. This is what I teach my clients inside of the automated sales incubator, which is creating an environment so that you can hit your profit goals, creating an environment where clients are willing to invest at whatever level they are right now. A lot of, honestly, like a lot of marketing consultants, coaches, business coaches, whatever, like they only teach one piece of this, but their business is not set up the way that they're teaching it in general. And I know because I've seen it, but it's like they're only teaching either do the high ticket thing. And that's easy because then they can say, okay, invest a high ticket and I'll show you how to do high ticket and blah, blah, blah. Or they only teach how to create your freebie or how to grow your email list, but they don't show you this process right here. So this is what I'm going to show you. This is how my business is set up. And this is how I help my clients to set up their businesses so you can create a sustainable coaching business that actually grows. All right. The Aspire model is where clients can first enter your business at any of these levels, meaning they can go directly high ticket if they want. They can jump into your mid ticket offer if you have it. They can do your low ticket, or they can just do your freebie and just hang out at your freebie level. It doesn't matter. But when you have the Aspire model set up, you never have to wait, worry, or stress about when and where clients will come in. The very first goal is to create a process where we're gaining at least 10 people per day into our audience. 10, this is how it works very simply, just 10 people per day. Even if you spent $10 a day on Facebook and you got email addresses for $1 each, it costs you about $300 a month. Even if it costs you $10 per email and you were spending $100 a day, which is $3,000, the numbers still work. And I'm going to show you that as we get to the end here. So what happens is when you have around 10 people per day on a consistent basis and you know those inputs coming in, you'll have around 30% of people who will say yes to your high ticket offer. Your low ticket offer. So let's assume that your low ticket offer is 27 and Quan even said the same. So this is going to be perfect for you. Okay. So you've got a 27, a 997 and a 5K. So let's just take this high ticket one out real quick. Okay. So when you have your 3 main offers, just a freebie, a low ticket, and a high ticket, the numbers will still work, but I'm going to show you what it looks like with a fully built out coaching business, meaning you have a low ticket offer, you have a mid ticket on-demand course, and then you also have a higher ticket coaching program. Okay. With 10 people per day, around 30% will say yes to your lower ticket offer. Now, this one is day in, day out, you're spending money on ads, and you'll have, around 30% say yes. Even if you go down to 10%, the numbers still work. So I think when I first started mine, I had 10%, and actually still now I have 10% of people saying yes. I have a little bit of a longer funnel. So if someone buys the full funnel, it's $138. So that's kind of advanced. I don't want to get into that, but you should have around 30% of people say yes there. Okay. Then you're going to have your mid-ticket offer. And from the total people, you should have around, depending on your funnel, how good your funnel is, your webinar or whatever you have set up, you should have around 20% of the people say yes to that. And so that brings you to 17 people, right? So around 17, almost 18 people that said yes. Still, we're at 300 people that have come in, okay? And you only had to have 17 say yes to that. Then from there, for your high ticket offer, you might have like 2% of people say yes. So 2% times 300 is like less than half a person, right? So, which is why this is $180. So with that said, with just 10 people per day coming in, you should be at $20,000 for the month. That is, I did some tax estimates on here because we got to estimate around 30%. If you're in the US, around 30% is going to go right out the door for taxes. You might have around 40% of expenses. And that is for the ad spend, right? Because if you're spending there, you might be spending, that's your ad spend, that's your VA, that's your tech stack, that's, all sorts of stuff there. And so that brings you to your $5K a month. That gets you there with your 3 offers. Now, let's say you don't have a mid-ticket offer, you just have a low ticket and a high ticket offer. Then your efforts, you're not going to have a 2% effort here, right? Your efforts are going to be a little bit higher there, and that will allow you to bring in a little bit more there as well, right? So let's see. Why isn't this number changing? Oh, that's why. I was like, why isn't that number changing? There we go. Okay. And this is why, as you can see where the numbers kind of shake out, this is why I recommend that you have an automated course. And then I also like having a mid-ticket. So my mid-ticket here is 1997 there. And my business is not focused on high ticket, so that's where my numbers are. Instead, I don't focus on the high ticket as much. I focus on the mid ticket as well as the lower high ticket range. Okay. So that's the profit plan. That's what I would go through with a client. So we would do that step 1 of setting the goal, the true goal that you want to set. Then we would go with step 2 with looking at your packages and pricing. Typically when I work with a client, the very first thing we do is look at their pricing and update that, upgrade it, change it. I'm known for doubling my clients' rates as soon as they come to me, because usually when I work with a client, like for the most part, they don't know really the value of what they're doing and what they could be charging. Especially looking at the rest of the market. Like I know, because I'm always doing research and I'm always looking at what is out there and what's available. And then also I look at where what their transformation is really bringing their clients. So I just did a success call. I'm going to work on that after this to get it uploaded to YouTube. But I just did a success call with one of my clients. And when she came to me, her rate it wasn't even high ticket. It was like mid ticket. And so I worked with her on a pricing. We definitely doubled her pricing right away, and even a little bit more than doubled. And she's fully booked her group coaching program, not once, not just twice, but she already has people who have already paid and signed up for a January round. It's October. So that's the very first thing that we do usually is like we look at the rates. So we set the goal, look at the packages, and then I'll look at the rates. We usually change and update that. I work on mindset to make sure that you're confident in those rates and that you're able to confidently command those rates. And then from there, we start plugging this in and we start looking at your actual funnels. So then we do the practical only after we've done like the energetic of making sure you're setting the right goal and that you have your energy behind that and you understand the value of what you offer. Then we start looking at the practical. Yes, Wendy, there will be a replay. Absolutely. And so the practical, what we look at is we start looking at those funnels and we look at, okay, what's your free offer? Is your free offer actually compelling? So let's talk about that for just a little bit. What I would go through next. I would say I would look at their free offer. Okay, I always start backwards. So I would look at their actual high ticket offer first. So I look at their high ticket offer and make sure that number one, the value's there, the pricing's right, and also that it's clear. A lot of times I find when I start working with clients, like their offer is not actually clear. And like, I don't understand it. I'm like, so what is it that you're doing? And so we really get clear on that first. So that's the first part of like working on the funnels. Then from there, then we jump forward to the free offer, and I look at the free offer, and I want to know, does this free offer make logical sense that after I download the free offer, eventually I should come into the high ticket offer? And so we do that next. So does it make logical sense? Is it congruent? Is it in line with your ultimate high ticket offer that you want to bring people into? And not only that, but the conversation that you're having in the free offer, is it preparing that person to take that next step? What do they need to know? Who do they need to become? What do they need to understand in order for them to easily take that next step, whatever that next step is? Then from there, I usually will help them create a low ticket offer or a mid ticket offer, depending on what they have. So we'll look at those packages that we already had looked at. And then I'm like, okay, well, this maybe this low ticket offer that you had, this probably needs to be your free offer. And then let's look at this thing like, oh, you have these things. Let's pull that together. Let's make that your mid ticket offer. And then, the high ticket offer is easy because all you have to do is get on a phone call with someone and then you create a custom package for them. So the most work usually goes into creating the low ticket offer and the funnel around the low ticket offer, as well as the process leading them into the mid ticket offer. And then getting someone on the phone is not very difficult. Usually for that, we use like a webinar process, which is the easiest way that I found that works, is creating what I call anti-webinar. And that's what I teach in You've Got Clients. But like I said, the most labor intensive part is like creating that low ticket funnel. And this is where business really took off for me and what I've been teaching my clients lately, which is when you have a way to generate unlimited traffic, it's so easy to hit your revenue goals. It's so easy to hit your revenue goals when you know how to generate unlimited traffic. And right now, like the issue that I'm running into is that when I try to spend more, Facebook essentially tells me that I don't have a large enough audience for them to go after. So the ad starts to break down. So I'm in a frustrating place where like I want to spend more because I'm making my money back from my ads, but I can't spend more because like Facebook is not able to find, because it's algorithm based. So they have to assume, who do we think is going to be the right person? So their algorithm can't quite keep up with how much I want to spend. So I have been like increasing slowly. I started the year off spending $12 a day. I went to $24 a day. I jumped to $100 a day. And then I went to $200 a day and I hung out there for a while. And now I'm finally at $300 a day. And I had to play around and create some additional ads in order to even get there. I would love to be at $1,000 a day because I know if I can spend $30,000 a month, like I can generate $90,000 in a month. Easy. But I'm not quite there yet. So that's the key. Like that's what did it for me, and where I'm teaching, like that's what we're doing inside of the incubator, which I haven't really talked about, but I can talk about in a second. But that's what I do with my clients inside of the automated sales incubators, help them figure out that first part of generating consistent traffic. Because if you can get consistent, unlimited traffic, then it really is just, at that point, it just becomes a numbers game. Now it's just like, all right, well, I know for a fact that I can bring in, 1,000 new people on my email list every month. And when I get 1,000 people, I know that 5% are going to say yes to a, maybe a mid-ticket offer I have, like a $2,000 course. And if that's the case, then if I get 5 people to say yes to a $2,000 course, that's $10,000. And as long as I can spend less than $10,000 to bring those 1,000 people in, which you can, usually that will cost you around $3,000, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. If I can spend that, then I know that all I got to do is do it over and over and over and over again. And it just becomes so easy. And the thing is that like that part is what is, that's what I've been teaching. And that's the part that like once it clicks for someone, it like really clicks for them. And so one of the clients that I worked with first inside of the incubator, Caruana, we worked together in 2019. And her very first success that she had was like just starting to get those consistent emails. And she was like, I just got 56 new email addresses. Like, and she was excited about that. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I already know, I knew what was coming, but I was just like, yeah, that's great. Like, yay. I always cheer my clients on. Right. And then, a couple of weeks later, like a week or so later, she was like, I just sold my low ticket offer. Like 3 people bought my low ticket offer. And I was like, yay, good job. Like, I'm still cheering her on, but I already knew what was coming because as soon as I saw it, and I helped her tweak and figure out what that low ticket offer should be. As soon as I saw people buying that, I was like, she's about to have $1 million business. And it's, this year she came into the incubator when we ran it this spring. And she was like, hey, I just want to give you guys the update. She had spent $1,100 on ads and generated $44,000 in sales. And she has a $2,000 course. So she got 22 clients to sign up. And she is doing some phone calls. She does do some sales over Messenger. But she said of the calls that she had booked, 6 of every 10 people said yes. So she had a 60% conversion rate for her sales calls. So her sales calls were easier. She's paying for her ad spend with that lower ticket offer. And it's like, now she knows where to bring her, how to get her unlimited audience. And like, that's the key. So that's, it's a little bit of a, I think I went on a little bit of a tangent, but that's essentially what I'm doing and how I'm helping my clients to generate a sustainable coaching business. Yeah, I mean, it feels insane, but it's really not when you have the 3 funnels in place. So I do have I just finished this, so I can give it to you guys. I'm still kind of testing it out, but I do have a new training where I talk more about her experience, but I also go through like the 3 different funnels that you need. And what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description so you can watch it. It talks about the month that I generated $25,000 in sales and cash received with no sales calls and how I did it with the 3 funnels. I talk about the ad that I did and I show you that $200 a day ad so you can see like what that process was like. And essentially like, it's very, very simple. And I'm like, I feel like I want to just take everybody and like shake them and say, this is it. Like, this is what you've been looking for. Because seriously, like once I found this for myself, like things just started taking off. And it's as simple as having the free offer, having these 3 things, right? The free offer, the low ticket upsell, and then knowing that you have a sales process to bring people to your higher ticket offer. So it does break down if you don't have all of those pieces. You do have to have a compelling free offer. You do have to have a low ticket offer that's helping you to build that audience, that unlimited audience, so you can pay for the ads. Like, you're not going to necessarily make money on the $27 thing. That's fine. Your goal there is just to pay for the ads. That's it. Because if you pay for the ads, well, now you don't have to pay any money out of pocket, but you still have those individuals who are interested in what you have to offer. And now it's just like, all you have to do is make them an offer. So if you have 1,000 new people coming in every month that you didn't have to pay for, it's like you're standing in front of a stadium. And if you are standing in front of the stadium and you say, hey, would somebody like to buy this thing? There's going to be one like all you need is one, right? If you have a $5,000 offer, there's going to be one person that says yes. And like, even if not, well, the next month you have 1,000 new people that are coming in. And so that was the magic. That's where the magic really happened for me, was realizing that. And I kept saying that to my husband. I was like, all I really need is more traffic. He was like, no, you don't need more traffic. You need to get better at selling to the people that you have. And I was like, no, because I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, based on the numbers and what I've done before, if I bring this many people in, this many people say yes. So I just need to bring this many people in every month. And so for me, my brain started thinking like, how do I bring this many people in every month? And that's when things started clicking for me, when I figured that out. And then from there, like, yeah, some people will say yes. Some people will keep watching. Some people will say no, but it doesn't matter because you didn't have to, like, you're not spending money out of pocket. You're not going out of business trying to spend money on ads because it's paying for itself. Hi, Christina. Christina says, low ticket offer. Can you give us some examples? PDF, ebook. Yep, it absolutely could be any of those things. Could be an audio product. So what you create for your audience is going to depend on a couple of factors. And for you, for example, you're a startup business coach. So what do people need who are looking for a startup business coach? Like, what's their number one pain point that they have? And I don't want to get too much into coaching and like actually start the incubator with you guys right now, but I could, just because I love it and I love what I do. But let me tell you a little bit about the incubator. And then if you guys have questions, feel free to message me, Instagram, DM me on Facebook or whatever it is, and we can continue to chat about it. And like I said, I'll also leave a link to the full training that kind of explains it. So what we do in the automated sales incubator, this is something that I normally only launch twice a year. We've hosted it 3 times already. We've done it twice this year. And then we also did it once in 2019. And the very first time I hosted it, I kind of did it like on a whim because I was like, well, this is something that's working for me. So let me just teach my audience how to do it. And I was just like, we'll just do it for a couple of weeks or whatever it was. And then the clients who went through that got such great results that I was like, okay, well, let's launch it again. So we did it again. Clients got great results again, launched it again. And we're working with the clients right now. They'll be done in another week or another month or so, right at the start of November. And so what we do in the incubator, it's a 90-day private coaching program. And by private coaching program, I mean that you get all of your work reviewed by me. So it's not a group coaching program in the sense that like you join the group and you're like doing your work on your own, but you're just chatting with each other. It's a private coaching program, but you just have peers that are also going through the process with you. So as we go through, as there's homework, as there's assignments, like you turn those assignments in, you get a review for those assignments and you get feedback and you get to change those. And like, it's a project that we're working on together. So for the 90 days, what we do is we work on making sure you're speaking to the right people, because we don't want to like start with the rest of the funnel without knowing who your target is and the messaging that you need to be providing for that target. So that's the very first thing that we do. We make sure that you're in alignment also with what you're offering and that you should be offering what you're offering. Because some people are like out here pretending to be, I don't want to pick on business coaches. So let's just say relationship. Some people are out here pretending to be relationship coaches when they really should be business coaches, for example. Okay. So we make sure you're in alignment with what you should be offering and, start setting your goals. So the same thing I talked about at the start of this, we do that for the incubator students as well. Then from there, we look at your high ticket offer to make sure that your high ticket offer is priced right, that it's clear, that it provides one clear transformation, and that it really speaks to that ideal client. So we want to make sure that whatever your ending point is, it matches the person that we're going after. Then we work on your freebie and your low ticket offer together. We do those in conjunction because the freebie sets up, it's like a layup to get people into the low ticket offer. So we create those together, figure out what those should be. You might, go hunker down and create those or whatever you got to do. And then from there, we start working on the marketing and sales pieces. So we create the sales page for your freebie. We create the sales page for your low ticket offer. I show you how to connect it all with the tech that you need and specific tools that I use to make sure that we're hitting all of the points that we need to hit so that people actually sit up, take action. And then from there, what we do is we go test it with your current audience. If you don't have an audience, then you can just jump into ads. And so then after we do that, then we start testing with ads and we figure out what your best ad is, who your best audience is, and then that's it. It's like 90 days and you get it up and running. Usually you can get up and running in around the first 60 days, depending on your speed. We do work in a group, but you're able to work as quickly or as slowly as you'd like. You've got 90 days to complete your project. So we had some clients who complete this round. We had some clients complete around the 50-day mark. So right before we hit that 60-day mark, they had their funnel, their freebie and low ticket offer set up and ready to go. And they're now in the process of working on their ads. So, we start working on the ads and kind of all start testing those together. Then from there, once you get done with the incubator, if you'd like to stay in, you're welcome to stay in. There's an additional investment, obviously, but if you'd like to stay in, then we can start working on the other pieces of your funnel. So if you want to do a webinar, we can work on that. If you want to work on your emails, we can work on that. It's more like a mastermind style, an ongoing mastermind style. And so I make that offer to the clients who are in the incubator at the end. And so now you have an opportunity to continue to get support for all of the other pieces of your business as you'd like to grow that. Okay. Cool. Quan says my $27 offer is a mini course on how to increase your credit score. Cool. Sounds like a good option. Any questions or other things that you guys would like to discuss or talk about? I think that is all that I had. I do have, if you'd like more detail, like I just gave you all the details on the incubator, but if you're interested in actually seeing if it's a good fit for you, just reach out to me and we can have a conversation about that. Alrighty. Oh, that's a great topic. So let's do that one. That's like a full topic. So let's talk about sales for next time. Do you mean like sales in the funnel or like phone call sales or sales of your high ticket? Like what else? What are we talking about? Okay, that's the question. Should we be creating Facebook ads without fully understanding sales? No. So the answer to that question is Facebook ads, Instagram ads, any type of ad, any immediate flow and rush of traffic is like pouring gasoline on a fire. If the fire is already burning, great. It'll just burn hotter. But if it's not burning already, all you're doing is pouring gasoline on dirt and it's like not going to do anything. So you do have to know like how to sell, even if it's just the $27 thing, like you need to know how to sell that. And that's part of what we do inside of the incubator is work on the wording for your sales page, work on the wording, like how you would even explain it to someone. And we work on all of that. And so once you have that, which is why we start testing. So once you have that and we tested and we know that you started to sell your lower ticket offer, that's when we can start, really ramping things up with ads. Okay. But if you don't have an audience to test it on, then we do kind of a mid step, which is to start with some ads first to test it to see if we can get some traffic in. The problem with ads is that with ads, you're going after cold traffic, meaning people don't really know you yet. And so it's actually more difficult to make a sale to someone who doesn't know you. It's possible, but it's more difficult, which is why we like testing the ads out first with your warm audience. Okay. All right. Other questions? My mom just texted me. Oh. Or do you guys find that your parents are like the version of Facebook? Like my mom like just sends random stuff to me. It's kind of like, I'm like her Facebook. How big of an audience does one need? I have about 1,000 people on Facebook currently. Oh, that's a great question. So in order to you don't need an audience to get started. It is helpful. It does help. But if for example, if a client came to me and they're like, hey, I don't have an audience or I have, 1,000 people on my Facebook page or whatnot, then the very first thing we would do is figure out, well, what's your, what I call happy medium? Meaning, do you like podcasts? Do you like videos? Do you like typing? So written, audio, video. So whatever your happy medium is, we would create what I call a cluster of content inside of your happy medium. So figure out what those topics are that your ideal client is interested in learning about and create a cluster of content. And not only is that going to help you to start developing your voice, it's going to help you start growing a little bit of an audience. And then we can move into the next piece, which is the freebie. For that, if you don't have an audience already, what I would recommend is going to Create and Fill Your coaching program. and starting there, and go to the module 3 section where I talk about creating your coaching program and finding ideas. And that research process that I teach in there, that's going to help you to figure out what content you need to create and where you need to start first. Victoria says, when you say we need to add at least 10 people per day, are you referring to an email funnel? Yeah, you need to add 10 people per day to your email list. Because that's where you can those are people you can directly reach. If you're adding 10 people per day on like Instagram, like that's great, but everybody doesn't open Instagram every day. They don't always get notifications on their phone for Instagram. Facebook, same thing. Like Facebook is such a cluttered place right now. So yeah, it's going to be to the list that you have control over, which is your email list. I mean, if it's a text message list too, fine. Whatever list you have control over. For my text message list, I actually only send texts out to buyers. So if you're only going to get a text from me if you've made a purchase before, and you still can unsubscribe at any point in time, it's fine. But the text message software is expensive, and I don't want to spend money on like just growing a big text list. I would rather speak to people who have already expressed interest in investing with me. And then I can give you guys reminders for when I do free, valuable trainings like this. Sometimes I do flash sales, and that goes to buyers. So that will go to the text list. Or if I do, sometimes I'd have like last minute cancellations for coaching calls. And I might send the text list a message saying like, hey, here's a last minute spot if you want to, sign up for a call, and I'm willing to do a call that way. All right, I'm hungry, which means that it's time to wrap this up. So if there's any other questions, just leave them in the comments. I'm very active in my YouTube comments, so I will respond. That is me responding. So feel free to leave any other questions you might have there. I do a free live training every single Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you don't see an email from me saying we're going live, then we're not going live. I will absolutely email you every single time we go live. I'm pretty consistent with it unless I'm not feeling well. So this past Saturday, I wasn't feeling well, so we didn't do it. But every single Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, we get on, we chat, we talk about a topic, and we have a good time. So if you guys have questions about anything that I've shared today, I am at LaTisha Styles TV on Instagram, so you can find me there. Feel free to send me a DM. Let's chat. Don't just say hey, because I don't respond to those. But if you have a question, give me your question first. And I will see you guys next week. All right. Have a good one. Bye.